In the UK, there are an estimated 345 different accents. In this unit, we are going to hear 7 of the most widely recognised accents.
I come from a small village in Berkshire, which is kind of west of West London. And when I grew up, it was only a little village, and now it's part of commuter belt London, really, suburbia. I reckon I've got a kind of what's now called estuary English. I think that's the sort of fashionable term for it. It's been heavily influenced by London. When I was younger, it used to be much more kind of rural, but it's changed as I've got older, I think. Because it was heavily influenced by London, we used to use some of the Cockney rhyming slang, but we often used to get it wrong. I mean, for example, we used to say barnet, mind your barnet, meaning, well, in Cockney rhyming slang it means hair, but we used to use it for your head, so mind your barnet meant mind your head. Another expression, which I think is very localised, is to say bet I. So I'll say things like, I better go now, bet I, rather than I better go now, hadn't I?
I come from Liverpool, from the north end of Liverpool, from a place called Bootle. It's an industrial part of the city. It's dominated by the docks, and like the rest of the city, right, Merseyside, the whole area, it's in decline now, and there's quite a lot of empty spaces where factories used to be. But it's not a bad place. It's quite a distinctive accent. It's a Liverpool accent called Scouse. Wherever you go in Britain, people recognise it as a Liverpool accent. And it's peculiar to quite a small area, to the city of Liverpool and the immediate area, and it's really a combination of a Northern English accent and an Irish accent because of the huge immigration from Ireland over the last century or so. Depending on who hears it, people either like it or people dislike it. There's quite a lot of peculiar words like a twirly, which is an old age pensioner, a busy, which is a policeman. Words like boss and last, where boss means good and last means bad. So you've got things like Everton a boss and Liverpool a last. Dead, which means very, so like that's dead good. And peculiar sounds, like in Liverpool people might say early when they mean early, or luch when they mean look, or a word like gale when they mean girl. And I think these are the sounds which are particularly associated with the Scouse accent.
I'm from the northeast of England, from a town called Sunderland, which has recently become a city. Sunderland is famous for glass and also for shipbuilding. My accent is known as a Geordie accent, which is particular to the northeast of England. It is quite sing-songy and has a tendency to go up at the end. There are different sounds such as supermarket instead of supermarket, and also okay instead of okay. We quite often say E at the beginning of a sentence, and we'll quite often round a sentence off with me. For example, we might say, I'm dead tired me. We'll also use dead instead of very. Other expressions are how are man, instead of saying come on. And another expression is I'm gan doing that tune, which is I'm going to go to town.
I'm from a place called Cumber, which is near Belfast in Northern Ireland. It's very similar to mainland Britain. Famous for only one thing, really, which is John Andrews came from there, the man who built and designed the Titanic. I went to his school. And that's about it, really, as regards Cumber. Well, my accent has slowed down since I've been in England. I've been here about 9.5 years. Originally, the Belfast accent's very fast. So much so, I don't understand it when I go back now. The accent actually comes from, I believe, a mixture of Scottish from the settlers and Southern Ireland. There are quite a few phrases in Northern Ireland that are different. For instance, a queer gag, which is somebody who's a good laugh, or what about you? It's a traditional sort of greeting, or hello. And both of those used very commonly.
I'm from a town called Annan, which is in the southwest of Scotland, on the Solway coast. It's a small market town, and there's a population of about 7,000 people. Because I haven't lived in Annan for 16 years, I've lived abroad and in England during that time. My accent has lost any dialect that it used to have. Now I would say it's fairly nondescript Scottish, and it couldn't be pinpointed to any particular region. For example, for yes, we would say I. For little or small, we might say we. And there's some changes in pronunciation. For example, head would be he'd, dead would be did, and more generally we use a glottal stop quite a lot. So Scotland would be Scotland, little would be little, and great would be great.
I'm from Birmingham, and they're called a Brummie. It's a very big city. In fact, it's the second biggest city in Great Britain. It's the Brummie accent. People tend to think of it as being a little bit common, a little bit stupid. In fact, people use it at comedy shows to sort of portray a very silly, stupid and common person. Right, an ordinary person would say, "Are you all right?" But a Brummie would say, "Am you all right?" An ordinary person would say, "Yes, that's really great." But a Brummie would say, "Oh, that's Boston."
I'm from Swansea. It's a seaside town about 40 miles from Cardiff, which is the capital city of Wales. Swansea is probably most famously known for the poet Dylan Thomas, but these days it's probably more famous for Catherine Zeta-Jones, the movie star. Well, coming from Swansea, I'm called a Swansea Jack. The Swansea accent is probably quite soft and subtle compared to other parts of Wales. People say it's quite sing-songy. Well, in Swansea, men might greet each other in the street and say, "Right, boy." And also on the bus, if you were to hear some girls talking about a handsome man, they might say, "Oh, he's stonking." And also in Swansea, as a term of endearment, we might say, "Oh, all right, cariad," which is a Welsh word for love.
Listen to how each person says the following words.
Duck.
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 Glass.
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 Glass.